If the approach isn't built around your strengths and how you're naturally wired, it's like running in shoes that don't fit. Have you ever worn a pair of shoes because they were beautiful and you loved them, but they didn't have your size and you had this really cool event to go to? So you just kind of stuffed your feet in there and they just don't fit. What happens? Like you get blisters, there's friction there, there's pain there. And so you can keep going, but it's going to cause friction and eventually burnout. Welcome to Remix Moments with Martine, where we will remix your mindset one moment at a time. I'm your host, Martine Williams, and I'm here to bring you a quick burst of inspiration, insight, and a fresh spin on your mompreneur journey. In just a few minutes, we'll remix your mindset, energize your day, and keep you moving forward with purpose. Let's dive in to today's moment. Well, hey friends, and welcome back to Life Coaching for Mompreneurs. I'm Martine Williams, and today we're talking about one of the fastest ways to create clarity, confidence, and momentum, both in your life and your business. And you've heard me talk about this on the podcast, but I just think that it deserves its own kind of episode and maybe even a little bit more explanation. Maybe you've heard me talk about this, and sometimes we have to hear things 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 times before it actually hits us and we get full understanding of it. But we're going to talk about operating in your strengths. Like, what does that actually mean? You probably have heard me talk about it, and maybe again you have an idea of what that means, but I really want to kind of dive in a little bit deeper with this today. So if your days have started to feel heavier than they used to, if you've been wondering maybe why you feel more drained than energized, even though you love what you're doing, it might not be because you're doing too much. It might be because you're doing more of the things that don't fit how you are naturally wired, what your natural strengths are. So over time, it's easy to slip into roles, routines, or responsibilities that don't reflect how we're naturally wired. It's called life. And sometimes it's because we've outgrown a season. Sometimes it's because other people's expectations have shaped how we spend our time, how we should spend our time, how we should show up in the world, how we should show up as a mom. And sometimes it's because we're trying to be good, in quotes there, at things that just don't align with how we're built. And when you operate for too long in ways that fight against your strengths, you start to feel mentally drained, even if you're productive. Stuck in comparison, measuring yourself against others' abilities, or unsure of what you really want or what's next. These are the things that I see on a weekly basis with my clients and that we work through, because it's not about doing it wrong. It's about being disconnected from the version of you that's most alive and effective. And how do we align how you're naturally wired, how God created you to be and to operate in a way that honors your strengths, number one, but also honors your energy. And so it's not just about knowing what your strengths are. You probably have an idea of what your strengths are, but you maybe have not been coached, or maybe you haven't understood how to, in those situations in life when you have to become someone you're not naturally wired to be, which we all have to do that. So when that drained or lost feeling shows up, many people try things like maybe adopting someone else's business strategy. I know I have personally done that, because when things don't feel like they're working or you're feeling drained, it's like, we make it, take it personal, like I'm doing something wrong. And so we see other people having success. So we're like, well, let me just adopt what someone else is doing, right? The second one is maybe you've tried doubling down on fixing your weakness. You're like, okay, this is a weakness of mine. And in order to be successful as a mom, as an entrepreneur, I need to just really make this weakness stronger. I've definitely fallen prey to that before. And then maybe adding more productivity tools or routines. And if I can just get more organized, if I can just manage my time better, then I won't feel so drained. I won't feel so lost. Or saying yes to everything in hopes that just something will feel right, like just throwing a bunch of spaghetti at the wall. And here's the thing. If the approach isn't built around your strengths and how you're naturally wired, It's like running in shoes that don't fit. Have you ever worn a pair of shoes because they were beautiful and you loved them, but they didn't have your size and you had this really cool event to go to? So you just kind of stuffed your feet in there. I'm speaking from experience and they just don't fit. What happens? Like you get blisters, there's friction there, there's pain there. And so you can keep going, but it's going to cause friction and eventually burnout. And I want to be really clear here that it's not that you can't become someone you're not in the moment to achieve a goal. This is what's really clear on the pro scan. It's about managing your energy around when you need to do that. And so not only understanding your natural strengths and how you're wired, but also understanding when you need to maybe elevate your dominance or lower your extroversion or some of these other things, the amount of energy that's required for you to do those things. That's what we need to make sure that we're managing because it may not be the actual task that's draining you. It's over time doing that task without actually aligning with the things that come easy to you, that are just natural for you. Like for me, being around people is very natural. It's very energizing for me. For other people, it's not. It's actually more draining for me to be alone, to not be around people. So me knowing how to manage that in seasons where, you know, right now I am recording this episode from a family member's home that I am caring for right now. And so I'm not able to be around my people. And so just managing my energy around that is really, really important. So I've been able to still do my client calls, and that's given me energy because I'm being around the people. So I just want to make sure that you understand I'm not saying that you have to stay in perfect alignment with your natural strengths because that's not life and that's not possible. It's knowing how to work your strengths in a way that makes you feel empowered, but also gives you the freedom and flexibility to be who you need to be to achieve the goal. So the shift comes when you start designing your life and business around how you're wired instead of trying to mold yourself into someone else's approach. So when you know who you are, like truly know who you are and your strengths, how you make decisions, what your energy level is, what your energy capacity is, what's your strongest behavioral personality trait that you've developed. Like when you really understand this information, you make decisions more easily. And as an entrepreneur and a mom, especially, you're making lots of decisions, and decision fatigue is real. I was just talking with a client about this the other day, and she's in a profession where she is making decisions for other people a lot and a mom of littles. And so decision fatigue is a real thing. And when you are able to manage your energy and manage your expectations and manage like the actions that you're taking more in alignment with your strengths, it does help you to make decisions more easily because you don't have that fatigue there. You're also going to feel more energized by your work because you're going to be operating from a place of strength versus stress. You're going to understand, oh, this work energizes me. This work drains me. Okay, if this work still has to get done and it's draining to me, how can I offset that by making sure that I have things that energize me in my calendar as well? It's going to help you to build confidence through momentum, not just effort. Like when you are in your strengths, it's like being in that flow state, being in that building momentum. It doesn't mean that you're not going to hit hard roads or things aren't going to seem hard. It's just you're going to have confidence because you're creating progress and you're creating momentum. And it's not just this constant push, constant effort, constant uphill battle. And then you're also going to experience more clarity about where to focus, how to build your business your way, how to parent and be a mom in the way that honors who you are and what you actually want to achieve and what you want your life and business to be like. Hey, friend, let's talk. It's time to book your clarity call. We are going to spend 1 full hour focused on you. A clarity call isn't about pressure. It's about possibilities. It's about you. You having a space to talk through what's on your heart and mind, you walking away with a clear vision and practical next steps, and you feeling confident in what's next and how to get there. You don't need to have it all figured out. That's my job. All you need to do is show up and we'll figure it out together. This is the best hour you can invest in yourself right now. Not in 6 months from now, not next month, right now. And don't just take my word for it. Here's what one of my coaching clients had to say after working together.
Working with Martine has been a game changer. Honestly, I was reluctant at first because of the cost, but after my first session, I quickly came to realize that her expertise is exactly what I needed. She went over my personality pro scan with me that ultimately gave me the insight I needed to know about myself, such as my strengths and my weaknesses. This enables me to better understand myself, how I relate to others on a personal and professional level. It has been eye-opening. Martine is encouraging, understanding, and gives tough love when it's needed. She will go over and beyond for you. I absolutely adore her.
That transformation, it starts with one conversation. It's time to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress. So head right now to martinewilliams.com or in the show notes and grab your private clarity call spot on my calendar before they're gone. And since I personally monitor my inbox, if you don't see a time slot that fits your calendar, just send me an email at martinewilliams.com with 3 times that do work, and I will make it work for you. All right, friend, let's get back to the show. So this is why I start my coaching and why the foundation of my coaching is with the ProScan personality and performance assessment. It gives you and me as the coach a clear blueprint of your strengths, your stressors, and your superpowers. From this foundation, it's what we build everything else on. And so this tool will help you to illuminate your natural strengths. Those are the traits that you can lean on to get results with more ease. So for me, my superpower, which is another thing that it will show you, the strongest personality trait and then how to leverage it, is my extroversion. So I need to make sure that I'm leveraging that superpower, because that is what's going to help me to feel most aligned and energized in the work that I'm doing. It's also going to show you your stressors, like the things that drain you. And here's what I'm finding with the women that I work with is that you're drained. You don't know why you're drained necessarily. And not even like you might know on a surface level. I mean, hello, you're a mom and you're an entrepreneur. So yes, there's going to be things that drain you, but truly understanding where that drain is coming from a science backed tool, not just theory, not just what your best friend is telling you, but from science. This is what is causing the drain for you is really, really empowering. And then what's your energy style? Like, how do you naturally approach goals and tasks? Did you know that you have a natural energy style? And learning how to actually embrace that and harness that and set your energy up around that. You also have very unique motivators and demotivators. So you can work with your drive, not against it, when you know what your motivators are and when you know what demotivates you. A lot of times when we're not feeling motivated, we take it as a personal attack, like I'm lazy or I'm just not good at this, when really it's like, no, there's something present in your business or in your life that is demotivating for you, uniquely for you based on your personality traits. So there's just so much information that comes from this process of illuminating your personality blueprint. It also helps you to understand your communication and leadership style so you can lead confidently in your business and in your life. So the goal isn't to change who you are, it's to understand yourself so deeply that your daily actions, your business strategies, and your personal boundaries all line up with your natural wiring as much as possible. Again, this is not about perfection. When you know this about yourself, you can stop forcing, stop guessing and second guessing, and start working with yourself instead of against yourself. And I know you feel that. You feel that resistance. You feel that hustle. So when I say working with yourself versus against yourself is when you drop into hustle. When you're working with yourself, you're working with alignment. And there is a difference, and it's how it's supposed to feel, and it is possible. And I think we're just in a culture that still just so accepts the hustle and the pushing through and the working harder. And look, I'm a performer, and I'm going to do a whole episode on being in the performance loop and what I have learned just recently about that. But for now, I just want you to know that it is possible. Like you don't have to operate from that place. And you can keep buying the programs, reading the books, even listening to podcasts. But until you have this information about yourself and then knowing what to do with that information, it's going to feel off and you're not going to know why it feels off. And what I have found for most of the women that I work with, they make it so personal, like they make it mean something bad about themselves when really you just don't have all the information that you need to align. So when you operate in your strengths, you stop chasing someone else's version of success and you get to define your own. That's really a big piece of this in creating that confidence and that ease. You make decisions faster because you know what aligns with you. Like the boundaries is one piece of it, but the other piece is like you know what's going to challenge you, and you either decide to roll with that challenge and align your energy around that, or you just decide that that's not the challenge that I'm not willing to go there in the season of my life. So your decisions will come faster because you understand yourself in a way that helps you to align best. You feel energized instead of depleted at the end of the day because you now know how to schedule and manage your energy, not just your time. And then you show up with a grounded confidence that impacts every area of your life. And this is it. When you just are so grounded in the confidence of who you are, it overflows into every area. It overflows into how you show up as a mom. It overflows into how you show up as a wife, how you show up as a friend, how you show up for your clients, like everything. When you're grounded in that confidence and you're highlighting your strengths and instead of downplaying your strengths and highlighting your weaknesses, you're able to stand in confident energy versus proving energy. And you've heard me talk about that before too. And perhaps most importantly, you feel like you again. You're like, oh, this is what it feels like. I think I talked about this on a podcast recently, but if not, maybe it was just on social media, just how when you get to that place where it feels at ease and you're at ease and you feel like more like you again, like that's how it's supposed to feel. Not that it's always rainbows and sunshines and, you know, unicorns, but we want it to feel more like that on a regular basis. I think we flipped the script or flipped the pendulum too far in the other direction where it's like, if we're doing it wrong, if we're not struggling, if we're not pushing, if we're not performing versus no. Like, yes, there's seasons of that where you're going to be pushing harder and you're working towards a goal and you're being challenged and you're growing your capacity and you're growing, but not 24/7, 365. Like that's not how we were intended and created to be and show up in the world. So, just some final thoughts and a call to action for you today is you're not behind, friend, and you're not broken. You may just be out of alignment with your strengths. You may have just not, you just don't have all the information so that you can activate and implement on it. And when you reconnect to you and reconnect to who you are, everything shifts. Your clarity, your confidence, your capacity to create the life and the business that you actually want. So, if you're ready to uncover your strengths and to build that solid foundation that everything else can be built upon, the solid foundation or for me, my faith is my solid foundation, who God created me to be, and really knowing who that person is. Those are my solid foundations that I build everything else upon. And I want to help you to do the same thing because that is a level of freedom and ease that is possible for you. And it's a simple, doable process to get you there. And it all starts with you and I hopping on a phone call together. You've heard me talk about clarity calls. So you can go to martinewilliams.com/clarity and let's just explore where you are. If this is resonating with you, there's a reason it's resonating with you. There is a next step for you. And I would like to offer up that it's getting on the phone call with me. So martinewilliams.com/clarity. And I want you to know that the fastest way to get unstuck isn't by working harder. You've been doing that and it's not working. It's by working and being in alignment with you and what makes you uniquely amazing. And this is what I do every single week. I bring women back to their strengths. I bring them back to what makes them uniquely amazing. I bring them back to what is energizing versus what's draining to you. And it's a beautiful experience and a powerful experience. And I am just on mission to help every single woman stand in that confidence of who God created her to be. So, martinewilliams.com/clarity, and I will catch you on our next episode. Well, that's it, friends, for this remix moment. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me, and I hope that you are feeling inspired and ready to take on whatever comes your way. Remember, even small moments can lead to big changes. If this moment made a difference, be sure to subscribe, share with your fellow moms, and leave me a quick review. Seriously, it means the world to me to hear from you. And until next time, I am believing in you, and I will catch you in the next moment.